We're going to unbox the Wellue O2Ring wearable oxygen monitor. It's got a little sleeve on the outside, a little tab that lifts up, and a 1-year warranty that greets you right here with trained staff ready to help you out. And if you got any questions before you buy, you can just hit them up, ask them about it, and go on over to welleuehealth.com to get more information. This review will give you some good information, but of course you can get deeper information contacting them directly. And that's one of the highlights I want to talk about. You're not going to find this stuff from our regular outlets. You're going to be talking with real people that can help you out right away. And that's good. It influences the price a little bit. It's a little bit higher price than what you're going to find in an outlet that's just going to send it to you, but doesn't even know how to turn it on. You know what I mean? So you get this card, you get the manual that we'll look at here briefly, and then you get the ring itself. You see it in here? When you pop it out of its little container, you peel back the cover, and you slip it on your finger or thumb. Let's talk about that. Then it's going to turn on and light up. It's got one button on the surface. It's got the information on the panel in the front. Here's where you actually charge it. You pull back that little rubberized cover and plug in the USB connector. And here is how it attaches. It's kind of a rubberized thing. You got to be careful not to squeeze here or to damage the sensors in here. One side is a little receiver. The other side is a little light. You see a little red glow in there barely? Now, I use my index finger because it works well, but you can use your thumb. They would recommend not to use your middle finger. It turned on as I was touching it, I guess. But you could use any finger that it's going to fit on. So I'm going to show it to you on my index finger on my left, non-dominant hand. I'm going to slide it on here. It stretches out to fit. And in doing that, I don't know if you can see or not, there's a little red glow there. The red light is always on. It doesn't come on and go off, and it's always on. And you'll see when you look at the app why. On the other side is the sensor, and right here it's pulsing right now, and you see the double lines. That means it's acquiring my blood oxygen at 98%, my heart rate at 74, and it alternates back and forth between those. There's no way to turn this thing off. It's always on. You can set it up in the app for the screen to be always on, or be on for a few seconds and then turn off, when then you can activate it by touching the button. So while it's sitting there hunkered down and doing its thing, let's look at the rest of the box. I open the lid. I've got a specialized cable. Yeah, big sucker. This is a regular USB charger. And you can use any USB charging cable to charge it, but this cable allows for direct data transfer to a PC. Not a Mac, but to a PC. It'll work with any Windows 7 or higher, I believe, version of Windows, and lets you transfer the data directly to the PC, and then you can work with it from there. Of course, there's an app for Android and iOS, and it'll transfer via Bluetooth all of its data to the app, so you can work directly with the app and not have to worry about the PC, but that's there in case you need to. So that's all there is in the box, and then there's the manual itself before we get into it. Important we go through the manual because there's a lot of stuff covered in here. Here's the basic information and where you can get the associated app, and we'll show you that. And, of course, have links in the show notes to pick up the Android one. Introduction to it and warnings and cautions. It's not waterproof now, and you don't want to use it around MRIs or defibrillators and so forth. You see, they're talking more medical terminology here than they are just consumer stuff. So it literally is bridging that gap between your customer-related products and your over-the-top medical gear. Come in here. These are 2 pages together down, so I'm just going to scroll down. You can put it in pause if you need to go back and look at them or read from column to column. The guide to the different symbols that are used. and basically how to turn it on and so forth. You just wear the device. It turns on automatically, and it'll turn off when you take it off. Now, it says the moment you take it off, but not really. What it'll do if you take it off is it's going to give you a 10-second countdown. It'll show it on the screen, and if you don't put it on another finger or put it back on, it's going to record all of the data it's been collecting since you put it on into a file, and that's the file that'll then be transferred to the app, and you can analyze it, okay? You want to keep it snug. Don't use your middle finger. Syncing the data. Here it talks about the countdown. And after that, you can sync the data. Now, if you threw it on your finger and had it on just to test it out, and it saves the data and transfers it over, and you've got this useless file because you really didn't care about it, you can delete it from the app. It's pretty easy. So just wear it, folks. Just wear it. How to wake up the screen. It's going to go off automatically, but you just touch the key to turn it on. The unavailable symbol. And honestly, you get that quite a bit if you move around with this one. It's really best as a device you use at night when you're sleeping to work with you with your snoring and apnea or whatever you may have going on. As a fitness device, no, it's not doing pedometer count. It's not giving you your calories burned. It's none of that stuff. It's two things, blood oxygen and heart rate. Just like the little finger things you stick your finger in, you can get from CVS or your local drugstore, except this one you wear on the finger and it goes deeper, having the vibration for all of the response stuff. We're looking at wearable quasi-medical gear here. Bluetooth connection, you pair it. Smart vibration for your blood oxygen and so forth. Screen brightness mode. By the way, it's in its dimmest setting right now, and you probably can't see it too much. So when we get into the app, I'll brighten it up. I had it set last night, so when I'm sleeping with it, I prefer it dim. And since I really don't wear it in the daytime for doing this, because I move around too much, dim is the best setting for me. And then you can view your report. Get your oxygen score, your O2 assessment score. So you don't need to be super technical. You just check this score, and if you're 7.5-ish or higher, you're all right. If you're getting down here, then maybe you need to talk to your doctor and let him look or her look at your data. And then there's an app offline mode. The PC software that you can download, there's a link for that directly from their website. And there's a whole bunch going on with that. I'm not covering that. I don't do PC. I'm a Mac guy. So that's something you can pick out on your own. Overall troubleshooting if you're having problems. Specifications. More specifications. And the range of 70 to 99%. Oh, this is what I like to show you is the accuracy. They're actually claiming accuracy now, all right? That you're getting plus or minus 2% when your blood oxygen is in the 80 to 99 range. So that means if you were at 99, it could be as low as like 97 really, but it's showing 99 and so forth. Once you drop way down there, 70 to 79, then it's plus or minus 3%. But its higher accuracy is up in the top here. The pulse range rate, and it's plus or minus 2 beats per minute, or 2%, whichever is greater, in the range of 30 to 250. Would you ever see 250? You could. Arterial fibrillation. I always want to say that differently. AFib can create a static, dynamic changing thing, and heart rates can, or pulse rates can jump all over the place. Of course, they're not accurate because it's hard out of control. Low oxygen level and high and low blood pulse rate vibrations are settable in here. So you can have it vibrate automatically when your blood oxygen level drops too low. That's that sleep apnea and snoring issues. And as well, it can vibrate if your heart rate goes too low or too high, which could be indicators of other kinds of things. The main thing is it's waking you, calling attention to these situations in your life you may not even know about, just to give you information that you can do a follow-up on to help with your overall health. Data storage is 4 sessions, so you want to sync it. If you put it on and off and on and off 4 times, then the 5th time will wipe out the first one. So when you wear it at night, you put it on before you go to bed, and you get up in the morning, recommendation, and this is what I'm doing, is to take it off, plug it into the charger, turn on the app, and synchronize the overnight setting. And here's the people that are behind it, okay? And that's their web address. So you can write to them here in China if you want to, or just go into their website here. So let's come back first of all here to the Ring. I want to show you what you get. Here's last night's reading with the Ring, and its primary focus is on blood oxygen, heart rate, and motion laying in bed. Doesn't go anywhere other than that. These little tick marks down here are the times when it vibrated the Ring to wake me up, letting me know that there was an issue going on. And this is the corresponding stuff down here. Now, it looks really busy and really small, but one of the best features that this company has done was produce expandability. So I can zoom in on any of these areas. Look what happened to me now between 11 something or other and 11:30, right? I'm sorry, I don't do military time. Between 2300 and 2330, I had stuff going on, man. I was getting my good blood oxygen. Then it started to get a little bit low, and then boom, I had a dip. Bing, it rang the ring, and that jolted me enough up that I started breathing, I guess, again, and so forth, and then another major one, and so forth. And there was a whole series of wake-up notification attempts happening around 11 something or other. You're not going to see that in this one because it doesn't do the whole blood oxygen computations, readings, until midnight. It starts midnight till 7 a.m. is its window of time, because it's really calibrated to just do that at night. This could be done at any time, so I went to bed earlier and caught me just after I went to sleep. Things like this is where it wasn't getting data at all, a straight line, so it's probably bouncing around a bit in bed and whatnot. Now, here's another thing I want to show you. Way later in the night, come down here around, and I can zoom in on it, you can really see what time it was. I'm getting a whole series of bing, 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 bing wake-ups around 1 in the morning in that neighborhood. And zoom back out again. I guess I got to do it within a thing, yeah. There's another major peak that happened down here about 1:30 in the morning and so forth. So the level of detail that you're getting with this Ring, I'm going to go way in here. Here's an example of when it tried to wake me up, but it took me a while. It went even lower and then kind of hovered there. And heart rate was zooming around 60 and then came back up probably after that awareness. And that all happened literally at 127 to 129. There's 1 minute interval. And look at all of the readings that it got during that 1 minute interval. Now let's jump over to the H-band. This one, I can't scroll it like that or expand it, but I can get these data points. You see the little yellow dots here represent the sleep apnea that was registered here. I had 7 of them. There we are. Now, if I touch here, I can come right down to there. At 1:20 a.m., it picked up that major event, whatever that was, happening and dropped blood oxygen in its reading to about 94, where I'm averaging around 97. And again, throughout the night, there's other ones. Here's another one happening at 3 a.m. sharp. Now, the spacing between these is every 10 minutes. So for this band, it's actually, if I'm within a 10-minute window of having a sleep apnea event, it's going to catch it, and it might trigger it. Here again, 4:30 a.m., and then I had a series down, up, down, up, down, up, and so forth. Every 10 minutes. This one, like I said, we're getting several in a 1 minute period that's showing you dynamically how I'm actually responding to that as well. Now that's all the stuff related to blood oxygen. You also can set heart rate maximum and minimums, and you'll get little markings here if you are dinged on the ring and it vibrates because you exceeded a threshold above or below. But I don't have that set up. I just wanted to monitor blood oxygen. So you do see my overall heart rate, but you don't see any warnings. And you notice that I have peaks. I don't drop very much below my minimum, my resting heart rate, but I do have peaks every now and then that jump up into the 70s, 80s, but not way up to like 120. That would probably be more for fitness, and you could theoretically use this for fitness and try to stay in a zone, like an aerobic zone. However, I've noticed that when you move around, especially with your hands, it's going out of its reading. And you're not going to get any kind of reading whatsoever, so you're not going to get that relayed over here for an alarm to go off. It's actually better to have a watch tightly on your wrist to get that kind of information than it appears to be for a sensor on your finger. Much more accurate for really close into where the arteries are right up next to the skin. However, it's not as effective for motion. Let's see what else we've got here in addition to the blood oxygen, the heart rate, and motion when you're rolling around in bed. And of course, if you were aerobic, this would have quite a bit more activity here as far as motion goes. You have this stuff up at the top. The recording time, this is from the time you put the ring on and it starts up until you literally take it off. It does a 10-second countdown and saves it. 9 hours and 1 minute last night was the time, and it says the percent of time under 90% was 9 minutes. So 9 minutes of my time, I presume, in the blood oxygen, which is almost 10%, right, fell below the 90% threshold. Okay? Then we've got drops of over 4%. This is when it actually starts to trigger you. 19 of them. It actually recorded 19 separate events when the blood oxygen drop was more than 4%, which averages to 2.1 per hour. But obviously I didn't have 2.1 per hour. They tended to be grouped together, so it's really good to have a graph. But if you're monitoring your overall night results, this is a factor you could go and watch to see if you can reduce the overall drops per hour or total drops per night. The average blood oxygen came out 95% with the ring reading, and the lowest was down at 79%. Basically, it's telling me my oxygen score is 7.6, and it's showing up in the yellow-green zone up here. You hit the question mark, it takes you to a website, gives you more information about all of that. And the average heart rate from down here is 57. Not my basic sleeping heart rate or baseline heart rate, but my average. Okay, so it's not computing that. Note, you can add here to say something about it. You know, you had a late dinner or whatever. Question mark gives you more information about all this. And this is where you can send it out via email or wherever, whatever method you want, you can send all this stuff out. And that's all here on a page that's deep from the beginning page. Like I said, I'd back out. This is backing out to the home page. When you actually link these things together and open the app, this is the page you dump into: weekly, monthly, yearly numbers and statistics on blood oxygen, on the numbers of drops, and that's drops in blood oxygen, and your lowest blood oxygen readings. And you see it's jumping all over the chart on the particular day, but you can see it in a month or year display as well. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. Here's every single event that I recorded, from putting the ring on, being longer than, say, 10 minutes or something, and then taking the ring off. And these are the only two that count. This was last night and the night before. These other ones, little ones like that, they're black like this, dark black, until you touch them and go into them and look at them. This is one I was just wearing earlier while I'm preparing these videos. I don't need it. I can slide it and I can delete it, and it's gone. But the other ones are still here. Here's some early ones I did when I was just testing the thing out. You can see I just got it because I'm posting this thing right around Black Friday. That's all here, but now there's more fun. You see down here I've got dashboard settings and discover. If I go to dashboard, this is live, folks. This is the live readings on my device. It's off on the screen. I have it in the setup that you have to touch the button to turn it on. There's no twist your hand to turn it on. It's either set for always on or activate by touching the button. And if I do touch it long enough to get it going, you'll see the percentage there, 97%, 72 is the heart rate. So I can use this as long as it stays active. Let's play with it. It's doing pretty good holding in there. As long as it's giving you live results and it's not stopping monitoring, then you could use this during an aerobic workout. Monitor your blood oxygen and your heart rate, okay? It's not going to give you a step count or any of that stuff again, but it can give you this information combined with a watch, that will give you whatever workout stuff you want. You have these together. So on a treadmill or something like that, you could set this up and you could monitor these two parameters, which is really cool. Overall settings now, this is where you set everything. This I love. You can change the vibration in the ring from very weak, which you can barely tell, to very strong, which, yeah, it's definitely intense. I'm at medium now. I was at weak, and I think some of those last night didn't wake me up, so I'm changing it to medium. I'm going to go up until I really feel it. Here's the vibration switch threshold, and it's currently predicting 88% as a value to set to be 4% below, I guess, the maximum. And you can set it all the way up to, 95% if you want to really be notified if it's dropping just a little bit, and all the way down to as low as 80% just by changing from here. And that will increase or decrease the frequency of warnings that you'll get, of course. You have this vibration switch now for heart rate, like I said. If you turn that on, and you can set an upper and lower threshold, and it will also invoke the same vibration if you exceed those limits either way. Now here we go. I got a screen mode of standard or always on. Right now it's on, and it'll stay on until it times out, and it's not very bright. I'm going to change that next. So you can have it always on, or you can have it go off to save battery, which is definitely what I do at night. Screen brightness, low, medium, and high. So now I'm on high brightness. Now, it's not really bright enough to see outdoors clearly, but it works indoors, and it's certainly at night you'll see it there, just timed out. You see that? So I'm going to go in here, since we're doing this video, and change the screen mode to always on, and now without even touching the button, it turned on and it's in full bright. Proper frame for doing the video, huh? In general, a data source, not sure what that is all about. I think it applies to other things like the ECG. And then you can visit and get help and about. And the overall about just tells you the firmware version and the app version and device serial number. And you can check, of course, I guess, for updates in here. And then you've got this Discover thing. And you have to sign in, create an account. If you're on a premium plan, you can have these automatic backups on the cloud, which you can access from anywhere. Otherwise, you have your data residing on your phone if you are using it to tether to your phone, or your PC if you transfer over there. And so they've got a premium plan you can subscribe to if you want to for all of that. And that is the app called ViHealth. When you exit the app completely, it'll finally disconnect the Bluetooth from here, and it won't reconnect until you are in the app attempting to connect to the ring. So once again, you're going to find this ring directly from Wellue. The link to their buying page is in the show notes down below, and I have coupons for you to take a discount. And because it's a holiday season, there could be all kinds of shifting pricing on this. So your best bet is to enter through our links and take a look, see what you can apply and what price you can get. It's a health ring primarily dedicated to oxygen and heart rate monitoring with the ability to trigger a vibration whenever your blood oxygen drops below a threshold that you set, or your heart rate goes above or below thresholds that you set. It provides really deep, accurate, we hope, data that is monitored several times a second while you're wearing it, and that's all recorded to the ring and transferred to either a phone app or a PC app that you can use for whatever needs you have. There, finally, I moved around enough and see it's got straight lines there, so it stopped reading, but it will pick up. One thing I noticed, because it uses this red diode at night when you're sleeping, it's really wild. It's like you've got a Darth Vader saber sword at the tip of your hand. You can see the red light shining around the edge here. It's something to get used to. It's not terribly bright, but it is there. And in order to turn the device off, see it's monitoring again, you simply take it off. It gives a 10-second countdown if you've had it on long enough. At the end of that, it saves that session. And again, when you sync it next time to the phone, it'll transfer that directly to your phone. It's connected Bluetooth right now, as I still have the app active. The real-time data stopped, but if I come over here, it would update this when I go through the update process, and we'll have that reading. Here it goes. Added to the list, go in here, and that's exactly what was happening with me while we were doing this review. You've been watching SmartWatch Ticks. We appreciate your subscription and checking out this new technology, and looking forward to early next year when we can use this device as something to test other devices that claim to do blood oxygen, sleep apnea, and so forth, and see how closely they correlate. We'll see you again soon.